All right, here with Quantic Gaming, we recently released an AMA on the Reddit Starcraft subreddit, and we're gonna ask your questions, answer your questions now, and ask them. From Vios VYOUS, what are you guys doing to make your team more competitive? Are you planning to have your players boot camp or setting up a gaming house? This is going to go to Ben Shaver, our manager. You can go ahead and introduce yourself and answer the question.
All right, I'm Ben Shaver, QxGfograw, and for this, it's kind of a difficult question, but we are working towards a gaming house. I believe that's essential to have on-site immediate feedback. So that's one of the reasons why the Koreans are so talented. But a few of the ways right now, we're implementing stricter practice schedules and also making sure that we theory craft a lot, because that's essential not only to play the game but also to talk about the strategy aspect as well. Because, you know, as the metagame changes, it's not purely about mechanics, it's also very much about strategy. So for the boot camp, that's not necessarily in the near future, but a pro gaming house, that is definitely within the works.
From Scythus, are there any plans for players other than Sase to visit, stay in Korea?
Yes, we are in the works of something major that will be allowing for Korean training environment to affect more players than just Sase. Sase will be staying in Korea, of course, because it's obvious the skill growed exponentially while there. And I'll say when players prove themselves in tournaments, when we see a high amount of potential, they'll be definitely getting spots over there, because it's essential to replicating the Korean success, replicating their training environment.
From Dome 210, is this the finalized Quantic lineup, or should we expect a few additional members in the near future?
We are very much so looking for a Terran. The elusive foreign Terran that's strong, we are looking for that addition. But other than that, I would say our lineup is fairly set in stone.
From Spankfurt, what do you think of the concept of foreign pro gaming houses? It seems that foreign players who are part of teams which offer structured training much like in Korea are able to play and win cost efficiently with Koreans, especially in recent tournaments.
I'm going to have to respectfully say you're incorrect in that argument, in that EG is the only one right now with a practice house, and okay, I shouldn't say this for certain, but I'm fairly sure that their practice is not as regimented as the Korean, because they do not have a major professional coach on site. Even though you have a pro gaming house, it doesn't essentially mean that you're having a Korean pro gaming house, which are two totally different things. Even though Idra and Stefano have been able to do very well lately, you need to look in the larger scope of things and realize that more than likely this isn't a trend, or this is a trend, in that once again Koreans will sadly dominate unless more players have harder work ethic and, you know, invest more time into training.
All right, from Fire Truckin', what are your plans for what are your plans for Shuffle? That's QxG Shuffle in the near/distant future. Smiley face.
Well, Shuffle actually is planning to take off some time from school and working to take his StarCraft career more serious, and I expect excellent things from him. Mechanically, I believe he's superior to everyone except maybe Moonglade in Australia. I believe that he needs to work on his strategy, becoming more cheese-proof, and also developing different builds. But from a mechanic standpoint, I'd expect some serious results just to the fact that he can overrun players with this unbelievable macro.
All right, the next question is for Theognis, and it is, what do you think is the biggest flaw in your gameplay, and how are you working to overcome it? Go ahead and introduce yourself before you answer the question.
Hey, I'm Theognis. I'm a Quantic Terran. I'm probably the only Terran on Quantic, and I'm trying to make it big. My biggest flaw, I guess it would just be like early game, because like later on in the game I have like, you know, good management, good like, you know, good balance of micro and macro. I think it was just like, you know, scouting and like reacting early game, so I don't like lose to anything stupid. So.
Stephen Bonnell. Most people know me as Destiny, formerly Root Destiny. Biggest flaw in my gameplay is probably my early game. I'm really susceptible to a lot of cheeses in all 3 matchups.
How are you going to overcome it?
Try to overcome it by doing a lot of focus practice over the next month or 2 before Providence.
Hey, my name's Josh Bland. Just go straight into the question. Shit, what was it?
It was what's the biggest flaw in your gameplay, and what are you doing to overcome it?
It's more so playing with a consistent style and just grinding out, restricting myself, practicing a specific style and trying to stick with it.
I'm QxGDarkCell, and what was the question?
It was, what do you think is the biggest flaw in your gameplay, and what are you doing to try to overcome it?
Probably I don't cheese enough would probably be. I mean, I don't like to cheese, so it's probably the biggest flaw in my game. There's a lot of stuff you can exploit as Zerg, and I don't seem to do that, so.
I'm QxGDEngka Williams, play for Quantic Gaming. Been playing StarCraft for a long time. Probably since before you were born, Platinipus. Is that who that was?
Yes.
Platinipus.
And biggest flaw in your game, how are you going to overcome it? Or how are you working to overcome it?
My biggest flaw is that I don't have enough time to play. That's really what it boils down to. Yeah, I can't really identify particular things because I haven't had enough time to identify what my problems are due to lack of time that I spent playing. So hopefully in the near future, I will be able to get the time that I need to figure out what those flaws are and then overcome them.
And a question from Brotosterone. Theognis, who is your favorite Zerg player?
I would probably have to say July Zerg. Like, he gets a bad rap for being like cheesy and all-in-ish, but like I really like his aggressive style because it's a lot different from all the other different like passive macro players. So, and plus I'm a StarCraft 1 like fan. So.
And you're a Terran.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I wouldn't want.
So you like Zerg's all-in because you're a Terran, and Terran's all-in.
I don't know, man. I think his all-in counteracts my all-in. So.
Question from Caboose. Congratulations. Who do you feel are your biggest rivals, and what are your goals for the foreseeable future?
I think my biggest rivals would probably be DarkCell and Inka on my team. You know, we practice a lot together, and you know, we're very competitive with each other, and I'm just trying to one-up them at MLG and stuff. My goals for foreseeable future is I want to make the championship bracket really bad, so I'm practicing really hard for that. And hopefully in Providence I can make something magical happen.
I don't have any rivals right now. I don't do the whole rival thing. Me. Doc Holliday's my biggest rival. We're going to have a bench off after Providence. After I take top 16 in Providence, I'll be smashing him at that. We'll head down to the local gym. It'll be awesome.
Goals for foreseeable future.
I really want to do well in Providence.
I don't really think I have any rivals, but biggest personal goal is just to dedicate every single hour that I have to practice and train, be the best that I can.
Rivals, I don't think I really have any. I mean, maybe when I get a little bit better, I can say that, but for now, no. And for goals, I want to be the best, the very best, the best there ever was.
Nice. A question from BBZ Opsy. With the recent addition of Sase and Destiny, you guys are a pretty new team. How was it everyone meeting face to face for the first time, and have you guys had much time to practice with one another?
It was really fun meeting them for first time. Like everyone's really nice, and you know it's really easy to get along with them. And you know we all love StarCraft, so you know there wasn't any like shortage of conversation. I haven't practiced with any of them like much at all since they just joined the team, and like it was maybe like a week before MLG, so we haven't had much practice. So.
I personally haven't, and I don't think Sase has because he's been in Korea the whole time. And I don't know much else. I've only been here for like a week, and we spent a lot of that time, you know, figuring out travel arrangements to MLG. I'll figure out a lot more in the next couple weeks, especially before Providence.
What was it like meeting face to face with everyone for the first time?
Everybody except for Axeltoss is really cool.
I've met everybody here except for Destiny and Sase, so it was nice to see them and practice.
Yeah, like how often?
Usually whenever we get, we're going into more detailed schedule soon, so that'll help a lot.
All right. A question from Deledle. Which player on your team do you consider the best player and why?
Probably Sase. You know, he just has the Korean training. He topped the European ladder before he went over to Korea. He won tournaments to go to Korea, so probably definitely him. And like the results show at MLG.
Why did you join QxG? What makes it different from other teams?
I think it makes a difference. Like we all started out as friends. You know, before we were acquired with Quantic, we were just like a small band of friends. We just practiced together. We played Clan Wars, and you know, it just grew from there.
Probably Sase right now, obviously. I mean, he's just spent the most time in Korea, and he's had way more experience at that level of play than any of us so far.
Why did you join QxG? What makes Quantic Gaming different from other teams?
In talking to Mark over the past couple weeks, especially like as of a week ago, it seems like the goals of where this team is trying to head really coincide with my own personal goals as a player. So hopefully we can kind of develop alongside each other in that regard.
I think Sase is the overall best rounded player at the moment. Just had more experience and more play against other top-level players, but we're all looking to get there pretty soon.
And why did you join QxG, and what makes Quantic Gaming different from other teams?
I joined QxG because our manager Ben and our owner Mark seemed the most genuine when they approached me. And what was the approach? Shit.
What makes them different from other teams? What makes Quantic Gaming different from other teams?
Just their overall interest level on their player. They're not just a label, sponsors throwing money at you. They actually care about you as a player, and they're interested in more of a partnership relationship than just growing themselves individually as a business.
Well, that's pretty obvious. It's obviously Sase because he's in Korea and he's better than us.
What about me?
Good answer.
No.
The person who said what about me is the manager, and he's terrible. I beat him with my Zerg.
It's such a lot.
Why did you join QxG, and what makes them different from other teams?
Well, I've been tired of QxG since we were Requiem back in November, and it was just a cool group of people that I enjoyed being around, and that's why I joined.
A question from Imbecile. What is your signature screw-up in-game that you just can't shake and makes you mad at yourself?
Probably Terran vs Zerg. I like to run on creep a lot, and it's always a bad idea. And I always just like slap myself in the face after I do it.
Anytime I screw up is pretty bad. The one that I'm probably most known for is my Greater Spire Folly. 4 MLGs ago against Response, where a hallucinated Phoenix harassed an Overlord a little bit, and I thought I moved it back all the way, but I didn't, and right before morphing 12 Corruptors into Broodlords, I realized that my Greater Spire had died off creep.
It's either getting into a super late game groove about 150 supply or more, and either making too many or too little pylons. And I've also had a knack where I've made at least 2 Templar Archives about 4 games in a row.
At a tournament, or is this ladder?
I think I did it once at a tournament, but more of a ladder habit for whatever reason.
Well, better to make 2 than forget it. Maybe. Maybe.
No, not usually. Not usually.
Probably times in the late game where I like throw an army away. That always hurts because that can like throw the game away that you're going to win. I've done that a lot.
Wouldn't that kind of revert back to the other question? What are you?
Yeah, you're right. So just the fact that...
I don't have necessarily a specific screw up. I don't think that many people really do. I mean, I guess the closest thing that ever comes to is when you're working on a particular matchup. Like, oh, this timing always gets me. I really need to overcome this. I need to work on this timing. But it's not an ongoing screw-up thing like, oh, every 20 minutes I forget to send my probe. No, that doesn't happen for anybody. So it's probably just like a temporary thing when someone's working on something in specific, and until they're able to overcome that through a lot of practice, that'll happen. And right now, I can't really answer that question other than say that I need to work on my build orders more.
From Cranan, I hope I pronounced that correctly. I want to ask Destiny what his plan is when it comes to balancing his streaming with hardcore practicing with teammates. There might be times when he won't stream a match because he wants to perfect a new build or completely change his playstyle for a tournament. I know QxG has agreed to not interfere with his streaming, and I'm just curious as to see how Destiny will split his time.
This is like a whole different thing. Personally, my philosophy as a player is I always aim for solid late game play that I don't think should be able to be hard countered ever. I don't think you can hard counter somebody that plays really well. I don't usually work on like builds for like specific maps. If I discover I'm inspired to think of some new like super cool cheese that only works on one map and one matchup against one style of play, then maybe I would work on that off stream. But otherwise, I mean.
From Hardy the drummer, what do you think is the biggest strength of your play? And yeah, that's it. Not matchup, but maybe, for example, multi-pronged attacks or solid macro, good planning, etc.
My late game management is pretty good, especially ZVT and ZVZ, and sometimes ZVP, although it's a little shaky at the moment.
Why do you think Ika is shaking his head?
Probably because he's an asshole. What time is it?
What time is
Is it like 11 o'clock?
It's 11:11, yeah.
Okay, so he's probably drunk out of his mind. I wouldn't take anything he says too seriously right now.